Wedding and party DJs, how are you all doing? Right, so this is my latest video and today I'm talking about networking. So networking is something we used to do all the time. As DJs we used to meet up, we used to talk about things, we used to talk about gear, we used to talk about things that were happening within the industry, and we used to take little nuggets all the time. But I think the most important thing about networking is you meet so many people, and when you meet people within this industry, you build up trust. And if you're building up trust, it makes life so much easier if you want to give out work. I mean, personally, I would never give out work to a DJ I've never met. I would have to meet him, I would have to know that I can trust him. I would have to know even things like personal appearance, what does he look like, what or she? I want to know all of these things. I want to know a little bit about them, because how can I possibly give work to someone, to one of my customers or potential customers, when I don't even know what they're like? So it's vitally important. There used to be a time within the DJ community that we would meet up, even if it was just for a drink or a curry. And then we had the shows as well. We had BPM, we had Plaza, Pro Mobile, we had all of those. Now I know some of those still exist. I think there's one coming up shortly called We DJ in London in November, and that's great. But what I would do is I would strongly recommend that you support these. If you don't support them, they will go, they will disappear. And then you'll realise how important networking is, if you haven't got it. So if you get the chance, even if you're, if you're all DJs in the same area, for instance, if you all live, I don't know, let's say you all live in London, or you all live in Essex, or you all live in Suffolk or Norfolk, just reach out to everyone and just say, look guys, we're going to meet up, we're going to meet for just an informal drink. We're going to meet up for a curry. Anyone that wants to come along, come along. I guarantee you there'll be people you'll say, oh, I've seen your name on social media, but I've never met you. And then when there's a job going that you need filling, or you need to rely on someone, at least you've met that person. You can, with confidence, that if a client asks you about a certain person, yeah, I've met him. Yeah, great, really nice person. You probably, if you're in the midst of a conversation, on a night out or a social meet, you'll probably get to know a lot about them in terms of their background, where they've been, how they started, just little things like that. And that's what you want, because then in confidence, you can give that work to someone. The other thing I would say about networking is, if you get a job from someone or someone gets a job from you, it's so important, just afterwards, just a bit of gratitude, just say thank you. Thank you so much. Hey, I did that gig on Saturday night. It went really well. Thanks for the recommendation. Same with venues. You get in with venues. Get to the point where the venues just love you. Honestly, there's so many DJs out there and wedding suppliers that have just lost the ability to actually communicate. Communication is going into a venue. Just smile. Just be accommodating to the venues. Bend over backwards. I know it's very easy to, stroll in there like you're some sort of diva, you're the DJ and it all ends and starts with me, look after me and do this and do that. You're not. You're just a supplier. Just go in there, be nice, do what you've got to do and just be accommodating. If someone says turn it down, turn it down. If someone says turn it up, turn it up. If someone says change the music, change the music. Just do what they want as a venue. That also goes for your, the person that's paying your bill. So if that's a couple, we hear so much about playlists. People talk about playlists, and I've read something only this morning, about why you shouldn't accept a playlist. It's like utter ridiculous. What a stupid thing to say. Ultimately, you're working for someone. Yes, I get that they've employed you as a DJ. I totally get that. But there are also songs that mean something to people that they want to hear. And if that's the case, all you've got to do is play those songs. What about those songs that reminded them of someone that had sadly passed away as sentimental reasons? It might be sentimental to the whole family. You've got to play those songs. You just, having that stone-faced attitude about, no, I'm the DJ, I'll play what I want, you employed me. You could have just plugged Spotify in. Don't be so ridiculous. Honestly, you play what the customer wants. I get customers that give me playlists of 50, 60, 70, 80 songs. And do you know what? I don't care, because then I see it as a challenge. I stick 80 songs in a big pot. Then my mission is to mix 80 songs and to play as many of those songs as I can. Granted, I always say to the customer, look, you've given me 6 hours worth of music here, you know, and we're only working for 4 hours. So, you know, it might be that I can't play all of those songs, and they'll understand that. So if that's the case, you know, ask for a wish list. Don't call it a playlist. Have you got a wish list of those songs? You know, I'd love to know what songs mean something. What are your special songs? And have that conversation. You know, that communication initially is what you want. So, you know, it's vitally important. It really is. But yeah, going back to networking, you know, I would strongly urge, if you are part of a community locally, you know, and you're not currently doing it, just reach out to everyone, you know, like we did in the old days. You know, NADJ, I know Cedar are still doing it, and that's great. Thames Valley, you know, all of those. You know, there used to be, I think we now live in an age where if there's anything we want to know, we just get onto a computer or our phones and we find out everything we need. But there's nothing wrong with doing it the old way. And the old way being, pick up the phone, send a message. Hey guys, set up a WhatsApp group. Hey guys, what are you doing? Next Thursday, you know, we're all going to meet down such and such, and you know, we're going to just have a drink or a coffee, or during the day. You know, a lot of DJs don't work in the day, and you know, if it means that they can meet up in the day, great. Meet everyone up in the day, have a coffee, start to build those relationships with people. You know, life becomes a lot easier. You can then talk about so many things as well. You can talk about pricing, you can talk about gear. You know, have you got those speakers? Have you got those speakers? This controller, that controller? What playout software are you using? There's so many things you can talk about. But as an industry, we really need to stick together, and we really need to start networking again. So my takeaways from this are, networking builds confidence, it builds community spirit, and it also builds trust. So you really need to be networking as much as you can. So if you take anything out of this, reach out to your fellow professionals. That's my little bit on this one. Hopefully you found that of some interest. If you want to comment below and let me know what you think, it'd be great to hear from you. Please like and subscribe. Subscribing means a lot to me because it means that, you know, I can carry on doing these as well. And YouTube will like me even more. But yeah, give us a thumbs up, give us a like, give us a subscribe, and have yourselves a fantastic weekend, whatever you're doing, and I'll catch you for the next one. See you later, bye.